I'm Aaron Furst with the Australian stock market closing report for Wednesday the 27th of April 2016. Initially, the soft CPI data was met with the ASX 200 rallying to the upside greater than 1%. However, the financial sector was unable to hold on to the gains as institutional investors began to price in an RBA rate cut even as early as next week, which saw the financial sector abruptly reverse momentum to the downside. The benchmark ASX 200 closed lower by 0.6% or 33 points to 5,187. The daily trading range was 102 points with the high of the session at 5,281 and the low of the session at 5,179. Internally, the market breadth was positive with 99 stocks advancing versus 87 stocks declining and 14 stocks unchanged. The financial sector was hit heaviest in today's session, closing down 1.17%. The Commonwealth Bank was down 2.46% or $1.86 to $73.76. National Australia Bank was down 2.18% or 60 cents to $26.90. Westpac was lower by 2.03% or 64 cents to $30.94. And ANZ Bank was down 1.53% or 37 cents to $23.88. The real estate investment trust demonstrated strength relative to the market by closing higher 0.53%. Shopping Centres Australasia was higher by 2.23%, Charter Hall Group was up by 1.7%, and Stockland was higher by 1.17%. The mining bellwethers were both lower on the session, with Rio Tinto down 2.1% or $1.02 to $48.42, and BHP Billiton was down 0.6% or 11 cents to $19.65. The gold miners and producers had a phenomenal performance, with the index closing up 2.94%. Perseus Mining was up 15.1%, Kingsgate Consolidated was up 8.9%, and Alasa Gold Corp was higher by 7.1%. In economic news, figures from the Australian Bureau of Statistics on Wednesday showed the prices of goods and services slumped 0.2% in the March quarter, and in the 12 months to March, the rise was just 1.3%. It was the first quarterly decline in headline inflation in 8 years. The data recorded that underlying inflation rose by 1.55% over the year, which is the weakest growth since the records began in 1983. The CPI figures came in well below the RBA's inflation target of 2 to 3% year-over-year nominal inflation. AMP Chief Economist Shane Olver said that the RBA couldn't ignore the risk that global deflationary pressures, softer domestic demand and very weak wages growth could keep inflation below target for an extended period. He said, quote, "While we had virtually given up on a rate cut at its May meeting next week, after recent solid job data, there is now a reasonable chance that the RBA may move next Tuesday." The 5 most active stocks on the session were Fortescue Metals lower by 2.9%, Mirvac Group lower by 0.8%, Qantas Airways up 4%, South32 higher by 0.9%, and Telstra Corporation lower by 0.7%. The 5 best performers were Pacific Brands up 4.4%, Qantas Airways was up 4.05%, Cleanaway Waste was up 4%, St Barbara higher by 3.7%, and Northern Star Resources higher by 3.6%. The 5 worst performers were Select Harvest down 6%, Broad Spectrum down 5.8%, Liquefied Natural Gas down 5%, ResMed down 3.7%, and Mesoblast down 2.9%. The Australian dollar is currently lower by 1.66% to 76.19 US cents. Spot gold is higher by 0.4% or $5 to $1,248 US dollars, and crude oil is higher by 55 cents or 1.25% to $44.59 US dollars. This has been the Australian Stock Market Closing Report for Wednesday the 27th of April 2016, and I've been your host, Aaron Furst. I'll see you again next time.